Hey everyone! I've already completely remodded my Oblivion since the last tutorial I made. I wanted to try something else, focused on much more content and places to explore. I'm using a similar graphic setup, but it's slightly different from my Oblivion tutorial video. I want to give a small tour on more Oblivion, the Black Marsh, Elsewhere, Valenwood and a few other locations I've added. While I'm showing you guys these clips, I'll be rambling telling you the options you have for adding different worlds to Oblivion, and my experience on this modding adventure. At the end I also quickly go over where I stand on Skywind and Skyblivion, and talk about the plans I have for my upcoming videos. First off, before I begin today's video, I want to give a quick and huge thanks to Bavylex. Bavylex is a YouTuber that makes Oblivion videos, mostly showcases. This user is also very active on the Nexus, mainly for Oblivion. If you watch this, do give some of Bavylex's showcases a try. It helped me occasionally to get new ideas or to be simply amazed by another modded Oblivion than my own. Finally, the mod list of this user can be found on the Nexus Oblivion top files, if you like what you see there. With that done, I'm gonna start by getting a little bit technical first. There are multiple ways of adding new provinces and locations to the world. Many of these new provinces are borderless and can be crossed seamlessly from Cyrodiil to another without loading screens. Usually, if two locations are directly next to each other, in my case Valenwood and Elsewhere, and such Sturk Hammerfell, to name just a few, they most likely need patches and load order will be crucial on how it shows in game. When you have many new locations and provinces, even the load order tool boss will get confused. Manual sorting will most likely be required. If you're accustomed to setting up your load order and know the tricks of setting it up correctly, you have a good estimated feel on where the ESP should be placed. Even so, this will be a lot of testing to see if everything is set up properly and works as intended. For example, the More Oblivion ESM is always loaded later than how it should be. It should always be loaded after the Oblivion.esm. I always read the readmes and try for yourself if you use a heavily modded game. Unique Landscapes is another mod which almost always needs patching and load order is crucial. And even so, not all new locations you might wish to add have patches. So again, this is a lot of trial and error and maybe even choosing between using different mods. When you add many new locations and provinces and do get it to work properly, you will want to have a new world map to actually display the new locations on the map. This is where I got stuck for a while. You will almost always need dynamic map. If you go to the dynamic map page, you will see the maps included that come with the different options for dynamic map. The problem here is that one of the options probably has a mod you use, but it doesn't include another mod you use. This made me search for add-ons to different world maps and I found many. First I tried the Glorious map, which I had some problems with getting the locations show right. In the end, I didn't really like its design, so I searched around for something else. I ended up with the extension of the Colored World map and the Elven map. This map displayed Valenwood, Elsewhere, and even all the unique landscapes and new roads. The problem with this map was that it didn't have cities like Such and Sturk added, which I wanted to have too. They would simply not show up on the map, and the marker for these locations wouldn't even appear. So I tried to take the original values from the dynamic map.ini and place them inside the new dynamic map.ini. And this is a little bit tricky since the new world map was resized. All the values had to be changed to make the new location show at the right spot properly. I succeeded in getting the values for markers right, however the map was resized and this made it so that the small part of the map got duplicated and the small part of Elsewhere Valenwood wasn't displaying right. So I had to search for yet another map, since this would lead me to nowhere. This is where I kept ending up with a mod called Under the Sign of the Dragon and all its extensions. I've used that series a while ago for More Oblivion, but never really got back to it. Under the Sign of the Dragon is a series of mods that adds the entirety of Tamriel to the game. It does more than that and it completely changes the height maps, allowing more provinces to be added. With this you can even add a version of Skyrim to the game, made by someone before Skyrim came out. So it has no similarities, but still is a nice extra to explore. What's more is that More Oblivion has an optional height map, so you can actually cross the border between Valenwood and Cyrodiil without loading screens. Something you normally need to teleport or travel with a ship for if you don't use those height maps. So I began adding more and more provinces, adjusted the maps where needed, made patches where needed, but I kept messing things up. It took me a good few hours to get it finally right, so I explored and played around for a while, and already found out this just wasn't for me. While the idea is great that you can travel from Valenwood to Cyrodiil without borders, and everything gets so nicely added to the world map, there are so many new provinces to explore if you install all the extensions. The loading screens were just too long for me, especially on fast traveling, which I guess makes sense. And this was even before I added any graphical mods. So I started over completely again. This time I dropped Unique Landscapes. Unique Landscapes need so many patches, and the only map that does show those new locations doesn't show the other locations I wanted to add. Unique Landscape Compilations is an excellent mod for sure, among my favorites, but for now I wanted something else without having to worry about that and all its patches too much. Running Unique Landscape with height maps, many new places like Such, Studuk, better cities and new provinces, it's pretty damn hard to get it all to run properly, while still keeping preferred performance. Dropping this mod gave me more room to add other large quest mods too, without having to worry about the extra compatibility issue. Again, I added all the provinces and additions I wanted and went on search for yet another world map. And this is where I found the extension of the dynamic world map, a vanilla textured world map. This had everything I had added to my game except the Black Marsh, and thus far I didn't get anything better than this. The only map I found that had Black Marsh added was Glorious map and the Tamriel Height map, which I just couldn't get used to or I just didn't like too much. And one small problem with this dynamic map extension is that it has the mod Westroad showed. While I don't really care about that mod, I installed it anyway to make the world map display correct. I also use Oblivion Reloaded and tweaked almost all of its ini settings, including the shaders. However, I probably remod the game a few more times to get the most out of it and see how far I can go before I break the game or before performance drops below a level I just can't live with. I myself am perfectly fine with about 30 FPS, but loading screens longer than 20 seconds just won't do. My biggest problem with having many locations that I just can't get rid of is a huge lag when you open the world map when you have many map markers. The game really tends to slow down when you're opening the world map then. More Oblivion, however, played in its own world map, runs excellent, probably because it's not in the same world space. Some people might ask me why not wait for Skywind and Skyblivion, but I'm not super excited about those games. When I play Skyrim, I mod my game heavily to get the best out of the mod Legacy of the Dragonborn. I've also heard that you can't travel from Morrowind Cyrodiil to Skyrim with Skywind and Skyblivion, although I might be wrong there. Finally, when I play Oblivion, I don't really want to go without better cities, which I doubt will be converted for Skyblivion. The beauty about More Oblivion is that it plays like Oblivion. It has quest markers and is completely converted. All original Morrowind content and quests are included, including side quests and all its DLCs. On top of this, there are many mods specifically for More Oblivion, and many mods from Oblivion work here as well. It really feels like playing a modernized Morrowind. There are also multiple ways to travel back and forth to Cyrodiil and Valenwood, for example by a portal or with a ship. If you want, there is even a mod that tries to fix the timeline at Valenwood Morrowind. Cliff racers will be gone and various quests will not exist. Of course, this will massively drop the gameplay experience, but it's excellent for any roleplayer or loremonger. Black Marsh, Hammerfell and Valenwood are still very much in beta, and I'm not sure if they're still being worked on, but it still adds plenty of new things to do and see, and they're very much playable. Now I know this was a pretty much random video, but wanted to show you guys some more love for Oblivion modding and tell you about the options you have here. While I'm at it, let me quickly tell you guys what else I've been working on for some upcoming videos. I'm working on a large story for Raven Castle. This has slightly become out of hand, as the story itself is already over 40 minutes long. I have to see if I can make something for it. It surely will take me some time to format everything. I've always been a fan of Raven Castle, definitely my favorite castle mod for Skyrim. A showcase for Raven Castle has been the first video I made for the Elder Scrolls 2. And I hope you can agree, my videos improved since then, if you have seen that Raven Castle showcase. Anyway, I wanted to try something special for this castle. I also still want to show a few more homes for Oblivion. The series doesn't do too good, so they won't be too long, but I still really like making videos for Oblivion. I really been enjoying Oblivion the last 2 months, even though most of the time I spent on it was modding the absolute crap out of it. And another video I've been wanting to make for a few months is a showcase for Skyrim's most endorsed castle mod, Dovahkiin's warehouse and bedroom. It's an enormous castle mod with tons of things to do and see. Anyway, plans might change, but at least one of these things should happen soon. I'll leave the links to the mods I showed in the video in the description below. If you followed my original Oblivion tutorial, be sure you make backups before adding these for easy rollbacks if you wish to. And also be sure to look for patches, especially unique landscape patches. Thanks for watching everyone, have a great day and I'll see you all soon.